Hello, this is your Week 6 guidance for W233. In the meantime, I'm working also on getting your papers assessed in terms of looking at them to see how you're doing with specific writing issues. And this is going to take me a while, so please don't expect to hear back from me until probably early next week at the earliest. I'll do the papers in the order that I received them, so those of you that did them soonest. You don't need to be worrying about my feedback right now. You can be moving on with the course and moving on into your research. This is the week 6, in which you really start to dig into your topic in terms of where you got to go with it, what the focus is actually going to be. Some of you all are pretty well focused, but most of you still are a little bit too broad. That's pretty normal at this point. This is only week 6. Okay, and I'm still trying to work on this idea of focusing, and I have some really good readings for you. I have a couple of lectures for you, and then some discussions where you're going to talk back and forth to each other about the concept of focus. But there's a lecture from Purdue, a PowerPoint lecture here to go through real quickly about finding your focus. I have a couple of databases for you to look at. I want to come back to that in just a minute. But basically, I want you to work on your learning diary, where you're actually going to find 3 more articles for your topic and actually record the articles, do a summary of the article, and do the citing correctly, get the citing done right. And you're going to use this actually in your big annotated bib that comes up at the end of week 8. Okay, so the learning diary this week starts to turn into your annotated bibliography, so take it very, very seriously, do it very, very carefully, try to get the citing as correct as possible, and I'm not going to check this until you actually turn in your annotated bib, and then I'm going to give you helpful comments about your citing, okay? I'm not going to punish you with it, all right? You need to learn it thoroughly and get it completely right by the time you turn in your research paper, but I'll go over it in your annotated bib and help you with it. So you're about 2 weeks off from your annotated bib, so you need to spend a good deal of time this week working on your research, and you need to be thinking about your focus. And those two things come together. As you do your research, your focus also becomes more apparent. You've got a really great reading this week from Bruce Ballinger, finding the 12th or 13th image on the roll of film. It's really interesting. That's going to help you. So please make sure you read that before you enter into the discussions. I have a mini lecture, a podcast about finding your focus, where I really discuss personally the concept of focus with you. And then you have 2 discussion topics that are about focus and where you're going to be working on finding your own focus. So if you just go through the learning module, do it in order. It's very important that you stay up. This is a critical time in the class. Absolutely critical. Please believe me. Stay on top of everything. And I've got a couple of links here called Using JSTOR and Using Ovid and Using PsycInfo, and I'm not convinced they're working very well, plus they are out of date. So if you have any trouble using a database, please ask Sue for some information on it. Ask her to help you get through it. These databases are actually intuitive. The key is to keep your search terms short and use these connectors called A&D, capital A-N-D. Don't plug in long phrases, okay? Like if you're doing ADHD and you want to learn more about Ritalin, do ADHD and capital A-N-D, Ritalin. Okay, and that'll bring you up all the articles that mention both ADHD and Ritalin. Okay, if you want alternative therapy and ADHD, do it that way. Okay, so you have to kind of play around with search terms, you have to play around with combinations, and you have to be willing to be patient when you're searching. These academic databases are not easy to use, but they're very, very authoritative. They're very important, and it's important that you do learn how to use them, because you're going to use them throughout all of your careers. Okay, this just isn't an academic thing. It's a business thing. It's a real-life experience where when you're actually doing real research for projects, and hopefully you'll be able to get these kinds of jobs where you do those kinds of things. You'll want to know about using databases. Doesn't matter if you're in the law profession, medical profession, any kind of business profession. You'll be using databases, so they're very important. Okay, I've rambled on long enough. Next week we will have a class. Okay, it'll be Tuesday afternoon. Watch your email. I'll remind you of it in the time. I have changed the times, as you know by now, and I know no time is great for everybody, but that's where we are. And in the meantime, I am working on your papers, but I'm not going to get them to you very soon. Okay, have a good week. Please keep up. Very important.